Welcome back, Art Invaders. And maybe you saw it already on social media, the Nokia cell phone hype. In today's tutorial, we create a Nokia cell phone from scratch. We will apply realistic materials and we explore advanced animation techniques. We melt the Nokia cell phone in front of your eyes and we also apply animations to the display of the phone.
And what's your biggest wish? How to do it? Now you will know it.
Let's get started.
The 3D objects.
Find the code in the video and get project files. Be quick, Art Invaders. The files are only freely available for 24 hours after the video release. Alright, let's start with the tutorial. First we delete the light, the cube and the camera with the X key. In the next step, we use the axis cross and press Y and insert an image of the Nokia phone. You can find the image on my Patreon, the link is in the caption. In the next step, we open the transform window and we zero the image out. And let's create the Nokia phone as quickly as possible. First, we add the cube. And we rescale it to the size of the image. These are my scale values. In the next step, we switch in the edit mode, select the cube, and we insert some cuts. We take the loop cut, create one cut, and now open this window and increase the cuts to 10. Take now the move tool, go to the line viewport and press X to transform both sides symmetrical. And now, edit the points. You have to do it like a rectangle tool to select the point in the foreground and in the background, and then you can switch the points. Alright, now we switch back in the object mode and to viewport shading number 2. And now we bevel the edges. Go under the modifier tag and insert the bevel modifier. Here we change the value to 0.2 and 10. The next step, we also insert a subdivision surface and increase both values to 3. Perfect. Rename the layer all the time after creating a new object. Get a better overview later on. Alright, in the next step, we create the buttons. Go to the line view and add a cylinder. Rotate it in X by 90 degrees and rescale it to the size of the buttons. These are my scale values. In the next step, we use the simple deform. Here we use the bend deformer and we bend it by minus 30 degrees and in the Z-axis. And in the end, we also bevel here the edges, insert the bevel deformer, and here we use 0.2 and segments 10. And now we get the perfect button shape. In the next step, we use the array modifier to duplicate the buttons. We use a count of 4 and factor x is 0 and factor y is minus 1.56. In the next step, we copy buttons middle, bring it to the side, open the simple deform and we change here to taper and we take a value of 0.3. Here we change to axis X, make the array modifier invisible, rotate the whole button until it fits. Press now Shift A, apply the rotation, delete the old array modifier and create a new one. Here we change count again to 4, 0x out, and we use for Z minus 1.35. Now we also put a check mark and a constant offset, and here we choose a value of minus 0.1. Alright, that looks good. In the next step, we use the mirror tool. Under mirror object, we use our body, and now we also have the buttons on the other side. In the next step, we go to viewport shading number 2, and we go to the edit mode. Because the buttons are not straight now, go in the area selection, select the area on the top, and now take the rotation tool and rotate it until it's straight. And it's automatically generated to all other buttons. Alright, switch now back in the object mode. Go back to viewport shading 1. And now we create the big button here. For this, copy and paste buttons middle. bring it to the right position, delete the array modifier, and rescale it with the scale tool. Under simple deform, we change to taper to Y, and we change the value to 0.65. And now we have our perfect button. Here we also have to straighten up the button again. Select the top and rotate it until it's straight. Perfect. Go back in the object mode to viewport 1, and now we create our display. Add a cube, rescale it to the size of the image. These are my scale values. Don't forget to rename it, and now we bevel here the edges with the bevel tool. Here we change to 0.2 and 10. Go back to viewport 1. We go now to the edit mode, take the loop cut and insert 5 cuts. Take now again the move tool, go to the point selection, transform X symmetrical, and now you can move the points, and don't forget, use the tool as a rectangle to get the right shape of the display. Alright, in the next step, we take both points on both sides and bring it to the good position. And now we can also use this line here to make the edges rougher. That looks good. Okay, so go now back to the object mode. Now we will create the side button here on the left. For this, we need a cube. Rescale it to 0.15 in all axes. Go now back to the edit mode and bring the points to the edges of the button to get the shape. Take now the loop cut tool, create here one cut and increase it to 4. And now also edit the points to the right shape. So take the move tool and use it as a rectangle to select all points on both sides. Alright, switch now back to the object mode. Now we apply again the bevel modifier 0.2 and segments 10 and also a subdivision surface. Here we choose 2 for both values. In the next step, we use the mirror tool. Under mirror object, insert the Nokia body. And now it's here perfect on the other side. Now we can apply the modifier, go in the edit mode and transform the points until it fits. Alright, switch now back to the object mode. And guys, we are almost ready. Alright, in the next step, we create the frame, the silver frame here on the phone. For this, we have to insert first a cube and rescale it. That looks good. Go now to the edit mode, go to the point selection on the top, take the move tool, use it as a rectangle and press E on the keyboard to extrude the cube. Then use the move tool again as a rectangle and move the points to the right position. Then select again both points, extrude it with the E key and transform the points to the right position. You have to repeat it a couple of times and it's really simple, guys. In the end, here you can also use the rotation tool to rotate it to make the whole process a little bit easier. Extrude it, select the points and transform it. Do the whole process until here to the top of the center, and in the end we use the mirror tool to fix the other side. Okay, we are ready, guys. Go now back to the object mode. Go here to the viewport shading number 2. Now we insert a subdivision surface and increase it by 5 in both. Right, now we change the scale value Y to 0.1. And we don't need so many subdivisions. Change it to 2, both values, and then shade it smooth. And now we use the mirror tool. Add in mirror object the body and under merge increase the value. Perfect. Alright, in the next step we also change again the scale value to 0.05 in Y and now it looks good. Do you want the whole project file?
You can have it.
With over 70 other files that we have already created together, guys. You can find them on my Patreon, the link is in the caption. Alright, now we make some beauty surgeries. First, select the body, go in the edit mode, line selection, and select here this points to make the edges better. Now you can also insert a loop cut here in the center. Take now the move tool and move it here to the top. Alright, now it looks good. Go now back to the object mode, select the frame, apply the mirror deformer. Now we go in the edit mode, select the points, move it here in the middle, select also this points, and move it until you don't see the overlapping point anymore. Alright, go now back in the object mode. Now it looks good. Perfect. Alright, in the next step, we create the speaker here on the top. For this, we need a cylinder, rescale it in all axes to 0.02. And rotate it in X by 90 degrees. Bring it now to the top. Now we use the array modifier and we increase the count to 5. Factor X is 0 and Y is minus 2.4. Perfect. So in the next step, we have to remesh our body from the Nokia phone. So important, save the file, go to viewport shading 2, select body, apply all modifiers, and now we take remesh. Here we use a value of 0.06 and we put a check mark under shade smooth. The next step, we create here on the top the hole. For this, we need a cube, rescale it. These are my scale values. Take now a subdivision surface, increase both values to 3. Select now the body and take the Boolean tool. If you don't find it here, go under Edit, Preferences, and search for Boolean and put a check mark, refresh it, and then you can find it under the modifiers. Alright, here insert now the hole and make it invisible. Perfect. So in the next step, we create the Nokia logo. For this, I have already created for us a SVG file. You can find it on my Patreon. Go under File, Import, and SVG. Rotate it in X by 90 degrees and in Z by 180 degrees. Press down with the right mouse button on it and set origin to center of mass. Take now viewport shading 1, bring it to the right position, take the scale tool and scale it until it fits. Go now under the data tag, then under geometry and extrude it by 0.01. Alright, go now to viewport shading number 2, duplicate the logo. And now we go under depth and here we choose a value of 0.002 to create a small frame around it and bring it a little bit behind the main logo. Alright, that looks good. So now we select everything and we shade it smooth to get perfect shapes. Alright, in the next step, we select also here the buttons, rotate it a little bit until it fits and bring it to the right position. So in the next step, we take the display, duplicate it. Now we take body. Here we take again the Boolean tool. Insert the duplicate display and make it invisible. Make the main display a little bit smaller with the scale tool. Alright, and as you can see, the frame is also not right. Select it and insert a simple deform. Take bend it by minus 40 in Z. And add a second simple deform. Take bend and bend it by minus 15 in X. Alright, that looks good. So in the next step, we also take the display and here we take also a simple deform. Take bend, and take axis Z. Take a value of minus 10, bring it to the right position, and also rescale it to the original size. Alright, that looks good. Here we also insert a subdivision surface to the display and increase it to 3 in both values. Perfect. Alright guys, we are almost ready. We only need the letters and the numbers for the keyboard. So first, the numbers. Add a text, rotate it in X by 90 degrees and by Z by 180. Go to viewport number 2. Now go in the edit mode, write a 1, go back in the object mode, bring it to the front, and now you can change here under this data tag the font however you want. Here you can insert the font. I use a really simple one where the one looks similar to the one of the Nokia phone. It's a Bahnschrift regular. I will also link you the font in the caption. And on the size, you can rescale it. Here we use a value of 0.110. That looks good. This sign I also made with the keyboard with a O, underline O. You can change then the position and other signs here on the phone you find also on your computer keyboard. So we can make also the other examples. Copy the text and now we make the letters. Go to the edit mode, write A, B, C. Go now back to the object mode and here I use the other font. It's the Arial bold and here we change the size to 0.09 and bring it to the right position. Alright, well done guys. Here in the end for this button we need a cube, rescale it. These are my scale values. Alright, now we can make the image here invisible and recreate now our backplane. For this, insert a plane, put it to the ground, rescale it to 5 in all axes. Go now in the edit mode, press now the line selection, select the line in the end, press E to extrude and Z to extrude in the Z-axis. Select now the line again, take the bevel tool, bevel the whole scene and increase the segments to get the perfect backlace. Go now back to the object mode and now in the end we create the slime or the wet object next to the Nokia phone. Add a meta ball. Make it smaller to 0.5 and now you can copy and paste it and you get this texture. That looks good. Select now again one meta ball. Make it here in this window a little bit smaller to 0.5 in all axes. And make some holes around it by also copy and paste it to make it more realistic. Something like this. Now you can select some meta balls and change here the scale values to make them different sizes until you have a result that you like. The best way here is also to use the Z value to make it not so much look like bubbles. This is only an example. Yeah, try out, make a cool slime effect next to the phone. And when you are ready, guys, take the first meta ball, go under the meta ball tag, and here you can increase the resolution and select all meta balls and convert them to a mesh. Yeah, that's it for the 3D model part. Watch the next tutorial 2 weeks before release as a YouTube member. More information's in the info box or in the caption.
The materials.
Now you can download all HDRI maps and textures for the material part.
Go, go, go. Download it.
And let's move on with the tutorial. Alright, now we came to the next part, the material part. And I already inserted a camera. Under the camera tag, I changed the focal length to 30. And under renderer, put a checkmark under ambient inclusion. These are my values and also a checkmark under screen space reflections and put a checkmark under refraction. Alright, now we can start with the materials. Drag the mouse to the top left corner until a plus appear and change here to shader editor. Alright, and in the first window we change also to viewport shading number 4. And we start with the lightning. Change here in the world mode. Search now for environment texture, mapping and texture coordinates. Press on the folder icon and insert here the HDRI map from my Patreon. Alright, under rotation mapping you can change the position of the HDRI map. Under rotation Z we take 70. Alright, let's start with the first material. Switch back to the object mode, select the backplane and press the plus icon to create a new material. Here we change metalness to 1 and roughness to 0.35. Search now for color ramp, mapping and texture coordinates. First we change the first color in the color ramp, black, and the second value to this color code. Perfect. Here under texture coordinate we use the generated slot and here we can change the position of the gradient Under location X, we choose 0.6 and under rotation Z, 135. To make the whole gradient brighter, we also connect color with the emission color and we increase the strength to 5. Select now the text, create a new material, change metalness to 1, roughness to 0 and change the color to black. Rename the material here on the top to black and select also the color to the Nokia logo frame and also to the speaker on the top. Perfect. Select now the Nokia body, create a new material, change metalness to 1, search here also for color ramp and Fresnel. The color ramp we also connect with the roughness value. Select the black color and here you can edit it. This is my color code to a dark violet. Select now the white color, open the color and insert here the second color code. It's a light gray. And now you can change here the position of the both colors to get the right colors until you like it. Alright, that looks good. In the next step, we select the silver frame, create a new material, search again for color ramp and Fresnel. Here we change metalness to 1, roughness 0.5 is right. The first color we change to white. Select now the second color, open it and select now a darker color. It's a middle gray. And now we change again the position of the colors. Alright, that looks good. We will later on also add manually light. Don't wonder why it's so dark now. Rename the material to silver and add the color to the main Nokia logo. Also to the buttons. Alright, here we go. It looks already really good. Now we create the slime texture, select it, create a new material. Search here again for color ramp and Fresnel. Under Fresnel we change the value to 2.2. Select here the second value, the white one, and change the color to the Nokia display green. And change the position of both colors. Alright, in the next step we open emission, connect also emission with color, and increase the strength value to 5. In the main material we change also metalness to 1 and roughness to 0.17. Alright, in the last step you also change here the color ramp to B-spline to get this slime effect. Alright, and in the last step we create the display. You can download the video animation from my Patreon, but I will also explain you short how I did the animation, because I took from the internet this image and then I use the free software CapCut. You can insert it here, also here in the second window. Go under effects, video effects, opening effects, and I start with the free effect fade in. If you hit play, it's animated like this. And then I go under the glitch effect. Everywhere where it's free, you can use it for free. And then you can create a short video for your own display Nokia animation. If you're ready, go under File Export and then you can export it as a movie file and you have your ready animation for this project. Alright, select now the display, create a new material. You can now drag and drop the video here inside, connect it with color. We use for metallic 1, roughness 0. Search now also for mapping and texture coordinates with the slot UV. Alright, now we have to change here some settings. The animation that we created have 180 frames, so change it to 180 and put the check mark under cycles and auto refresh. Alright, and now we have to play with the values here to see something. And really important, we also have to connect the video with the color of the emission and increase it by 3. And now you can see the texture. I also changed already the location, the rotation and the scale that the animation fits perfectly on our display. Alright, in the end we add some lights. I used point light, change the position. To change the position I used here the location values of the lights and you have to put it in front of to create this directly light source on the phone. Under this tag you can now change some values. I increase the radius to something bigger, like this. That looks good. Alright. Now you can copy and paste it and bring it also here to this side. So here at the down part, it looks good, but it's a little bit too strong. You can change here the watt to 5, and here's the top view to see where the position is. 3 reasons why you should follow me on my social media channels. 1. There you can get exclusive shoutouts if you tag me at Art Invader. 2. There you can vote for upcoming projects. 3. Exclusive quick tips to get a pro in 3D.
The animation.
Alright, now we came to the last port, the animation port. And first we join the complete Nokia phone, copy it as a backup, and then select all layers and convert it to mesh and join it. Then you have the phone. It's important that you don't join the lights, the background, or the slime. It has to be really only the phone. So, as you can see, the display is also animated. The animation from the display is 180 frame, so that's the reason why we also change it here to 180 frames. Alright, and first we animate the phone. We need the location, insert the keyframe, bring it to the end, and bring it down and insert a new keyframe. That looks good. And to make it more realistic, we also use the rotation value, insert the keyframe. We can also use the same keyframe. Alright, and now put the animation slider to the middle of the animation and change rotation values by 5, but you have to see what looks the best. That looks good. And replace keyframe, and now you have also the rotation here. Alright, the next step, we select the slime. And here we use the scale values. Insert a keyframe in the scale values. And here also in the end, this is our end frame. And here in the beginning, we choose a really small value. 0.5 in all axes looks good. And if we hit play now, we have the animation. Perfect. In the end, we want that the whole animation is linear. Change here to graph editor. Select everything in the scene to get all animation curves. Go under select and select all. Go now to key, interpolation mode and choose linear. And that's it. Alright. And in the end, we add some glare to the animation. Switch back to the timeline and start to render the animation. When you're ready, you can go now under compositing. Search now for glare and also for picture viewer. And connect it also here with this image. Alright, here you have the preview image. Here we change to simple stars, and as you can see, the stars are automatically applied to our image. Now press again Command F12 to render the whole animation, and then you have the glare on your animation. And that's it. I hope you liked the tutorial, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please consider supporting me with a like, comment, or even a subscription. Thank you, Art Invaders. And we see us in the next
We